I know that we have a lot to get through, and I promise it'll just get better and better as we move through our program. So what I would like to do now is there'll be a short panel discussion that I myself found very intriguing, and I think you all will find it. And I promise you there'll be plenty of time for entertainment and having, conversations with each other and so forth. So I ask you to kindly stay with us until the end of the program, and it would be lovely to have you all here. So I would like to welcome on stage Petra Taouk Al-Hindi, who's a human interest journalist. Yes, please give her Okay, who is obviously a human interest journalist, television and radio presenter, producer and talk show host that has a profound experience of more than 20 years in the media industry on both radio and television platforms in Australia and Lebanon. Petra has earned a master's degree in educational psychology, graduate studies in spiritual accompaniment, and an undergraduate degree in journalism. Her expertise in communication, along with the psychology of human behavior, enriched her content writing and gave her a special perspective for her journalistic career and knowledge in content writing and media production. Petra will moderate the discussion on the panel, and she will introduce the panelists who will join us tonight. Petra, now I would like to ask you to welcome the panelists and give an introduction.
Masal khair, good evening everyone. It is of my pleasure and honor to be among you tonight, to be enriched by the journey of three distinctive women who mark the world one day at a time, one act at a time, who are the desired change that surpasses the call for change, who lead with femininity and impress with a knowledgeable heart and a heartful mind, who shape the world and shake the world with that assertive gentleness and that storm with a breathe. بتاء التأنيث لأنه الحياة ولأنه الكلمة أنثى. Allow me to introduce three remarkable women who will outpour their harvest of the journey and place their experience in our hands. Mahasti Askari. Mahasti is a proud Iranian-born Mandaean with extensive experience in combating domestic violence and homelessness. She's an activist in social sector with various leading roles at Liverpool and Fairfield Domestic Violence Court Advocacy Scheme, Lewis Place and Alice Springs Women's Shelter in Northern Territory. Mahasti as well is currently managing Women and Girls Emergency Center that is overseeing crisis accommodation, transitional housing, and staying home, leaving violence programs. Mahasti is a member of the Department of Home Affairs Women's Reference Group. Welcome, Mahasti. Allow me to welcome Dr. Hawra Abdullah Al-Naqshbandi, Iraqi-born physician who celebrates motherhood in a white robe, graduating with a Bachelor of Medicine and General Surgery from Al-Muntasiriyya University College of Medicine, 2007. She's a member of the Iraqi Board of Diagnostic Radiology in 2019. She leads various positions in the Iraqi Ministry of Health and has been serving lately as a consultant radiologist in the Oncology Teaching Hospital in the medical city in Baghdad. Dr. Hawra joined Macquarie University Hospital in 2025 upon her arrival to Australia. Welcome, Dr. Hawra. Last but not least, Professor Ola Ghanoum, a Lebanese-born Australian plant scientist. She specialized in photosynthesis at Western University. She leads the ARC Training Center for Smart and Sustainable Horticulture. Sadly, Dr. Ula couldn't make it, couldn't be with us tonight. She lost her brother yesterday, and allow us to join Dr. Ula in offering our heartfelt prayers and deepest sympathy upon the loss of her brother. I'll join the remarkable ladies. It's a Q&A session, and I would love to thank you for sharing your journey, your story as remarkable women among us tonight. Dr. Mahasti, I'll start with you. Let's journey together. Am I pronouncing your name right? Mahasti. So let's journey together to a defining moment in your pathway to self-actualization, an unending journey. Where was that transformational moment, Mahasti?
Sure. I'd like to start my speech also by acknowledging the traditional custodian of the Wangal people where we're meeting today, and acknowledge their continuous connection with lands and water and culture, and also acknowledge the pain and the suffering all the Aboriginal women and children that they've gone through. And let's hope for the day that no women and children has to go through any suffering by any reason. I'm actually more comfortable. Oh, no, to speak without the microphone. Anyway, the start of my journey, I suppose, I'd like to go back on the days, that was about 1995. I was 17 years old, and that's where I left my parents' home, and I went to a different city, you know, like quite far from home, to study, to live and study in a British college in south of Iran. And that's where I took that opportunity, let's say, by having that confidence that in myself, that it was seen obviously in my parents, and the trust that put on, you know, like on me to hold myself accountable and stay responsible for the choices that I make, and that self-worth and that confidence was the set for me to start my journey. That opportunity was quite a significant privilege, because I was one of the only 5 women, let's say, from my very small community, the Mandarin community in south of Iran, that was given that chance to enter university, you know, at that time. And
that's remarkable.
It is remarkable, and that was the beginning of my journey.
That's the beginning of that journey. Dr. Hawra, is there a transformational moment, if I may say, in your journey?
I will first want to thank you so much for having me, and it is a very honor and a pleasure for me to sit here. Actually, I would say something that probably it's not expected. I did not see myself succeeding yet, because for me, success is not an final destination. It's a journey.
An ending journey.
And yeah, it is a journey, and I'm still working on the path. I think the big pivotal point was the decision to move from Iraq. Because back there in my country, I had everything. I had my career. I was working in one of the best hospitals in Iraq. I had my community, my connection. I was even living in one of the most beautiful suburbs in Baghdad, in a very nice home. But there was still something inside me that's telling me that you can do more.
Another call.
Yeah, that you can do more. And I really, really wanted to work in a place that have a high standard, the standard of patient care that meets the matched standard of care that I want to provide to patients. Actually, this was almost unachievable in Iraq. and that leads me to Australia, where I think I have a lot of ambitions and a lot of dreams still to be unfolded.
So as we hear, both your experiences speak of leaving a comfort zone, be it a home, be it a country, this unending departure. Let's speak about failure, ladies. Failure that is a core component of success. Failure that is the fabric of success, if I may say. What were the major challenges you have faced, Mahasti, and how did you overcome them? How do you define failure?
We all have a different understanding of failure. For me, failure is a new beginning.
Wow.
And that was exactly how, let's say, my journey, to grab into that self-strength that there was always there on me to turn my pain and put it under my feet as the steps to fly higher. So, speaking of the challenges that I faced, I migrated to Australia. I was still 24 years old when I came to Australia, and very soon I found myself with 2 broken marriages, no parents, all these cross-cultural barriers, and 3 children. And here we go, it was me and myself and my children and all those vulnerability that I was carrying. I suppose we are born with IQs, and schools and universities, they teach you so much skills, and but that soft human skills that we need mostly to survive hardship and pain, to turn it to success, is that emotional intelligence. So here we go, I was quite vulnerable and I didn't know what to do. My vulnerability was coming from my fear, the fear of uncertainty, that I've had 3 children and what am I going to do to do next to survive and to live, and all that feeling, after my separation, that I was deep carrying inside me of, like feeling like guilt, like shame, of being a divorced woman. I was breaking that conventional, like set life, style and traditional, way of family living, and going to start a new journey and build a future for myself and my children. So that vulnerability, the moment that I started accepting that and accepting the fact that I was the sole responsible, to heal myself and to start that journey, and accepting that vulnerability and sitting there and listening to that inner self that it was crying, and it was that little girl, bright, smart, full of love, full of life, and wanting to live and continue to have a dream and allow my also children to have that life. So I faced that fear. Instead of sitting there and weeping, I faced that fear, to overcome that fear and not let it to become a barrier, and grabbing to the support that it was around me, and grabbing it to my self-strength and working hard and turning that to a place of success where many years, here we go, I'm sitting here and I can speak very freely and confidently about that moment.
Can we celebrate her brokenness? Transforming pain into gain, touching our inner wounds and inner child. Thank you for sharing those vulnerable moments. How do you define failure, Dr. Haura? And I suppose it is very scary to journey to the unknown.
Yeah, well, failure in working as a doctor, I call it like it is walking side by side with success. So we almost every day make wrong decisions. We almost make every day wrong diagnosis in my perspective. But on the other side, we do 99 correct things. So I don't like to call them failure, as Dr. Mahasti called them, that's challenges. I faced a lot of challenges in my life. Of course, moving here was one of the biggest ones. I just went from one of the most successful, well-known radiologists in Iraq to someone who is a stranger, who all my qualifications are questionable and need to be re-advocated, and that was also with an accent. So it's not the working in medicine and in radiology is depending largely upon communication and upon the people that you know. So losing people and communications that you've made back in the previous 40 years in your life is not an easy. And I had a lot of other challenges that probably different from other challenges that every immigrant had, which were passing an exam for qualification of my general radiology board.
After being a leading radiologist.
Since I just moved, I had to do my radiology board exam, and I had to I also was having an exam in subspecialty, something called subspecialty, which is more specialized course, which I have in breast imaging right now. And I also have to prove myself as a radiologist and as a doctor in the hospital. When I first came in the hospital and I started working, everybody was questioning, who's that person who came from the third world and taking care of our patients? So it wasn't easy, but being here now, I think before I came here, I had some numbers. I checked the numbers of breast imaging patients who were sent to the hospital that I'm working in, Macquarie Hospital. I noticed that almost all the number of the patients are doubled as compared to the last year in the same month, which I wasn't here. So I think this is a big success. Most of the surgeons now are refusing to send patients to the hospital where I am in a leave. So I'm really happy to what I have achieved, but as I said that I still have a lot of challenges to pass.
Wow. We celebrate those blessed beginnings after a journey of achievements, and thank you for sharing those fragile moments. Let's go back to those fragile moments, Mahasti, where you feel at your lowest, where you just stand before your inner child broken. I failed twice in my marriage. I'm alone with 3 kids. I am weak. I am vulnerable. What do you tell yourself in that moment, practically? How do you shift your mindset to redefine your experience and embrace those vulnerabilities?
I stayed committed, very much committed toward taking care of myself and embracing what I had, not focusing on what I didn't have. And that self-commitment and self-respect and self-love that we can sit down and talk forever about it, that was the foundation for me to work harder. And instead of sitting there to ask the question, what happened, whose fault was it, or it was fair or unfair, I kept focusing to move forward. I did not look, behind or to the past, and I kept focusing into the journey, into the recovery part of the journey. Of course, it was never easy, and till today, it's not easy, and it will never be easy. There's always challenges, there is always up and down. Working hard, continue to learn, and also continue, or let's say, started to giving back. You know, that's another way of, you know, love is not just, it's about receiving, it's also about giving. So started continue back to the community and build that network, be surrounded by those people that they are my type, they were my herd, they were my tribe. You know, I always want to be with them, and that's how, you know, I can really stay.
Amazing, keeping your eyes
always
towards that bright tomorrow. The tomorrow has endless promises. Dr. Hawra, how about your mindset shifts in times where you shiver from fear in that unknown and this uncertainty?
Yeah. I think it's consistency and resilience. Making small steps, but continuous steps. Like even getting my degrees that I've get back in Iraq were not easy. So I have developed a lot of habits and mindsets that make me much better in time management and making the best of every single moment. So for example, I always listen to educational video when I drive, also watch videos while doing house chores. You know, so time management and creating a good ideas and like new ways of creating time where nobody sees is one of the best, because you can, it's the same 24 hours that everybody have, but you can use it in your own way. And also standing up after every single fall I had. I think it's also something important that makes the changes that I think is, yeah.
Amazing. We fall, yet we stand up. We cannot conclude. I can keep on going till tomorrow. Probably we often read a book. We seldomly read each other's lives, and that's a big honor to sit here among you and listen to your stories. We cannot conclude without marking the day. Mahasti, what does it mean to be a woman?
I like to use a slogan of the latest demonstration that has still happening back in Iran, Zan Zindagi Azadi, women, life and liberty.
Wow.
Women's, you know, we are humans, and we are mothers, and we are daughters, and we are wives, so we're a gift. We are truly a gift in this in this universe. And I also like to refer to a very, very close quote to my heart that it's been sitting there for years, and it will continue to do so, from a writer, a book called Outrageous Openness from Tusha Silver. She's a Jewish background American astronomist, where she described the divine as, what if there is a organizational principle within us that's controlling everything? And what if we all have that inner suitor or lover within us that writing us love letters every day that often goes unopened and unnoticed? That love that we are seeking, it's inside us. And that is the first point for all of us, to self-value ourselves as a woman, and not let any situation or anything or any reason to bring us down or to break us, or not to let us live our, you know, like our best and to the best of our potential as a human first, and as a woman second.
Thank you, Mahasti. دكتور حوراء أنت امرأة أنت الحياة في امرأة. What does it mean to be a woman?
So being a woman, I think, is one of the hardest things. We have a lot of battles that we fight that sometimes they go unseen, especially men, a lot of battles that men do not know anything about. Like simple things and sometimes are complicated things that we are every day standing in front of our mirror and thinking, what should I wear tomorrow? Or I've just gone some few kilos, or just my hair is not going right. These are a few battles that they really matters in our life, and they are really difficult, but sometimes that we are not talking about. So passing these complicated, simple things, as well as being a backbone of a family, and studying, working, and also leading outside home is something I'm really, really proud of, and I will happy to do it every single day more and more. And I will really just tell every woman that since you've been able to do all of this, you are not something small. You are so big, so great, and you can do more.
Mahasti Askari, Dr. Hawra al-Naqshbandi, thank you for sharing part of your story and placing it in our hands. Thank you for your attentiveness.
Pedro, I've been, asked and instructed to ask you the same questions that were, given to our lovely panelists, and we would love to hear your take on the journey of women, on the resilience of women, and the courage of women day in, day out. So not only through the questions that you asked the panel, but also from your own personal experience.
It's much easier to ask, it's harder to answer. I'm a woman, I'm a mother of two amazing treasures, my son and daughter. Many people know about me, very few know me, know my story. I am Lebanese, and I think that's enough to speak about how many, many times I had to reinvent myself. But I think to keep it short, I embrace pain, I embrace vulnerability. I use them as the fabric to write, dream, and cry. My tears are words. I use them a lot to be who I am today. I love listening to women specifically who probably shared my vulnerability as well. But I think the aha moment in my life, the transformational moment, was that when I realized that the whole universe lies within. Heavens lies within. All the answers lie within. My destination is within. My home is within. And that ultimate purpose is within. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pedro. I would like to ask Professor Ahmed and Dr. Bushra to come on stage. Please, panelists, stay. Mahasti, please come and receive this honorary award. Can I please ask Dr. Hawra al-Naqshbandi? I'm sorry, Dr. Hawra. Can I please ask Petra Taouk Al-Hindi to come up and receive her award? And Professor Ola Ghanoun, who couldn't be with us today, but can I please ask Wafa?
We call Wafa Jaha, our other member in the steering committee of the academic forum, to join on her behalf.
Thank you very, very much, panelists.